What's up, everybody? It's KB. Again, the whole podcast is presented by our awesome partners over at Wasted Wedge, and a new age of golf has arrived. And if you are looking to be the talk and envy of your group and create memories with your friends and family, look no further than the lineup of Wasted Wedge products and merchandise. These Wasted Wedges are a blast to drink shots out of on and off the course. I want you to think your traditional shot ski that people were lugging around at your college parties and all over the place, and how difficult they were to store, how difficult they were to transport. Wasted Wedge is revolutionizing it. It's now a golf club. It's a wedge. It's compactable, can go right into the side pocket of a golf bag. You have extenders, and it's all plastic cups, so there's no hot glue. There's no glass that you actually have to use. They're the best in the game, and they're revolutionizing the way you're taking shots on and off the course. They're a blast, and you need to check them out. Go to wastedwedge.com. Check out all of the products that they have to offer, from the actual Wasted Wedges themselves to apparel that they have to the extenders and everything in between, to be the talk of your party, be the talk of your golf outing. And you can find them on Instagram and Facebook at Wasted Wedge. Be sure to follow them. Make sure you're letting them know that you're coming from the Getting the Whole podcast and Underground Sports Philadelphia. That's wastedwedge.com, and find them on Instagram and Facebook at Wasted Wedge. Remember the name, wastedwedge.com.
Thanks for listening to Get in the Hole, your number one stop for all things in the world of golf. Watch and subscribe anywhere you get your favorite shows on Apple, Spotify, YouTube, Google, and more. Just search Get in the Hole. Get in the Hole is the official golf pod of the Underground Sports Philadelphia family of podcasts. Now let's get right into the action. Here's your hosts, Steve McAvoy and Ben Pirro.
Philadelphia, baby, you're going to love it. Best sports fans in the world. Actually, the worst, but that's what makes them the best.
Now, look, I mean, here's the thing. It's almost impossible for me at this point to spoil Oppenheimer, considering it
valid.
No, I mean, my overall experience, I would say, was really good. So, sorry, I thought I heard like a loud banging or music on my end.
It was the atomic bomb.
It was that, or it's the opening sequence to Barbie, where it's Lizzo singing. Have you seen either one yet?
I haven't seen either yet.
Okay. So, first of all, day started. It was 5:40 Barbie. My girlfriend worked the night before, so she was asleep. We had like a late lunch. I made her food. We just get to the theater in time for Barbie. Now, my girlfriend is the kind of person who needs to watch every trailer. So she's in my ear, we're going to be late. We're going to be late. I'm like, well, it isn't my fault. It took you 15 minutes to pick out an outfit for Barbie. So, because naturally. So we get there, but about 5 minutes to spare. First of all, I don't know if you are an AMC theater guy, or if you're a Regal or Cinemark.
Regal.
All right. So I'm an AMC guy. They do $5 movie Tuesdays.
Mm-hmm.
It's basically everywhere all over Long Island. If you've ever been to an AMC theater, and for all of you watching, you can feel this with me. The woman in the opening sequence discussing AMC theaters in the very slow voice. It's Nicole Kidman. First of all, didn't know that one until about a month ago. It's so annoying. Because it's almost every Tuesday I'm going to see a movie. So it's like I see her every Tuesday almost. And the sequence is it's so cringy. Like, cool, yeah, you're touting the theater as a whole. But like, Nicole Kidman, just stop. I don't like it, and it's funny because I got to see it not once but twice that day. So it was not necessarily something that was like, all right, great. I saw one trailer before Barbie. I believe it was. I'm totally drawing a blank on what it was. Whatever it was. Movie comes on, really good. Soundtrack is bomb. It's funny, and this isn't a spoiler, but the opening song to the film is a track done by Lizzo, and it's really funny because the way the song sequences follows along with the movie, and the song that's out on Spotify, there's an extended cut that's not on Spotify that was specifically made for the movie, and like in one part of the opening sequence, she falls off of the roof, which is like something that's like been on the trailers, And it's Lizzo cutting the song. Oh shit, girl, you alright? And I'm there like, holy fuck, that's amazing. Greta Gerwig did an incredible job at making this movie really funny. It was a little too woke for me, I'll be honest. And there were some like things going into it where like I had seen the funny TikToks about how like Fox News commentators were getting all like geopolitical about it because there was a whole thing with Chinese involvement in the Pacific Ocean. Honestly, you don't even really notice it. But overall, a really funny movie. Very much like touchy-feely for a lot of the girls that were in the theater. Like you could tell, kind of like hit everyone in the feels a little bit. I think as a guy, I have a bit of a biased like opinion because I don't really connect like that to how it would have connected with women. I thought it was just really funny, and the delivery was hilarious. And there's one scene in particular that I loved, and this is not a spoiler or anything. Barbie, Margot Robbie, is complaining about how she doesn't feel pretty anymore. And the narrator in the back, who's a really famous woman who I'm forgetting who it was, discussing the idea of like women being pretty, said, if you're trying to make this point, don't cast Margot Robbie. And I'm like, wow. They broke the fourth wall from the narrator POV for this film, and it was terrific. So those things were really good. Greta Gerwig did a great job. Got Chick-fil-A, delicious Chick-fil-A meal. Then sat down for a 3-hour demoralization of my life. Cillian Murphy was incredible. I think Robert Downey Jr. is going to win a Academy Award, in my opinion. He did a terrific job as a supporting actor in that film. Josh Peck's 5 seconds of fame in that movie was really, really funny.
Shout out to my guy.
Like literally, it was him staring at a button and sweating. It was really funny. Other really good performances in that film. I mean, Florence Pugh, for the 15 minutes of airtime she got, played a very convincing role. And again, I think they did a very good job of telling the story. I think Christopher Nolan did stay pretty true to the actual story. As somebody who knows history like I do, it's pretty damn accurate. So I think those things really did carry out a really impressive film. Went a lot into the idea of, we're going to build this town in the middle of New Mexico because J. Robert Oppenheimer loved New Mexico. He always said if he could mesh his work with the rural Native American area, then his life would be complete. And lo and behold, this is what he did.
No CGI for that bomb either.
Yeah, which made it even more impressive because you're sitting in the theater, and this is to anybody who's going to go and see this in standard picture. Go and see it in IMAX, because it isn't even the actual picture that matters. It's the audio. It's deafening when you are in the theater and it's like ringing in your ear. Like literally, the bomb goes off. It's blank. There's no sound or anything. You just see it in flames and like in Cillian Murphy's eyes. And then, like a natural bomb from 2 miles away, you get hit with the of the wind and all the dust like shooting in your face for like 30 seconds, and it's deafening in the theaters. Your ears are ringing as you progress into the next scene. Very intense, very good. Barbie's an 8 out of 10 for me. Oppenheimer's a 9 out of 10, and arguably Christopher Nolan's best film to date, possibly ever. That's
a hot one. That's a hot debate in the streets right now.
I mean, look, like you can debate all you want. What is Christopher Nolan's best film? Obviously, the people who are like big time superhero fans are going to automatically jump to The Dark Knight. I think the casting of The Dark Knight is better than any movie he's ever done. Don't get me wrong. I also think that's a byproduct of the fact that you got the literal best Joker you could have ever gotten, on top of, in my opinion, the most compelling Batman since Adam West. So like you have to consider those things. The casting for this film was impeccable, but it really is the brevity of the situation and retelling the story that makes it even better. And they go back and forth between like subjective thought, which is color, and then objective thought, which is all the black and white. And it's very interesting. If you don't understand history, it's a little confusing. I'll get that. But once you dig a little bit deeper, you really kind of get a appreciation for history, and you're left wanting more. You're left going to Wikipedia after the show, and like me and my girlfriend staying up for 2 hours as she explains to me nuclear fission and I explain the history behind everything. See, this is the beauty of when a history major and a scientist marry. It's kind of like it works out well. So that was my overall experience.
Yeah, because my top Nolan film is Inception.
Also a great movie. It's just like, because again, his scope is so big, and there are so like there's other movies that I'm drawing a blank on that he's done. I have to actually look it up now. But like Inception is a completely different film. It compares to like Interstellar, to the Dark Knight. Honestly, I would say prior to this movie, if we're gonna remove the Batman films, because I think that's kind of how you have to go about this. Prior to Oppenheimer, his best films either Dunkirk or Interstellar. Dunkirk was an incredible movie, except Harry Styles isn't a great actor. But
valid.
We can debate.
We all know that.
All we want. I mean, I guess you could say it's debatable to a degree, but
watch Don't Worry, Darling, and there's.
I watched it. I loved it, and I laughed at how bad he was as an actor. Even when he yells at Florence Pugh, it isn't convincing.
So bad.
And my girlfriend's sitting there like tantalized by Harry Styles because she fucking loves him, and I'm
movie
like,
stunk.
I liked it. I didn't think it was bad.
I have my thoughts
had
on
moments.
the film. It was.
We'll chat more about it off scene, but let's dig into the. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome into the Get in the Hole podcast. Kyle Bennett, Steve McAvoy here with you. Another week down in the PGA Tour as we approach the regular season finale. By the way, I want to confirm to you this cannoli is absolutely bussin'. This show here on the Get in the Hole podcast and every show on this particular side of the sports world. Brought to you by our friends over at Wasted Wedge. A new era in golf has arrived. Forget about the shot skis. That's so 1970s. We're moving on to the Wasted Wedge era of golf, designed to be mobile and give you the absolute best time from the first tee to the 19th green, and of course, anywhere else you go. The tailgating item of tomorrow, Wasted Wedge. You can find them at wastedwedge.com. Again, wastedwedge.com. KB, I had obviously my off week last week. There's a lot of things that I want to talk about that I missed out on. We're going to rehash some things from last week that I'd love to get your take on from when you spoke with Ben. But I want to lead off with what occurred this past week on tour, and something that's kind of gone under the radar in terms of what we're looking at the back end of the year. Obviously, we have guys that are on the bubble of the FedEx Cup. We're going to get to that in about 20 minutes. We're discussing the idea of Justin Thomas's lost season. The Ryder Cup is around the corner. The playoffs are coming in. We're looking at all these different things. But I think Lee Hodges' win at the 3M Open this past week kind of gets swept under the rug. And it's very unfair to him. 28-year-old wire-to-wire win, only becomes the third PGA Tour player in the last 2 years to go wire-to-wire. Also, I think he's the first PGA Tour player in like 40 years to go wire-to-wire in his first ever win. So pretty damn impressive from Lee Hodges. With the win, he moves all the way up from 74th in the FedEx Cup standings all the way into the 30s, which will mark, even with a not great performance next week at the FedEx St. Jude, will in fact get into the field for the BMW, and a solid performance might even get him in to the Tour final if he hits the top 30. He set a tournament record of 24 under and the largest margin of victory at the 3M of 7 strokes over JT Poston and the field. The win also locks in, of course, a 2-year membership extension, which is good, which is huge for a guy like him to get his first win, keep things going. He's been on tour for about 5 years. His tour card was going to expire soon. As the 2-year extension will lock in a trip to Kapalua at the Tournament of Champions next January. And of course, another big ticket item, he gets to play in his first ever Masters next April. So pretty damn impressive from Lee Hodges to go wire to wire. Also in a field where a lot of guys, this is the last 2 weeks of the year, making pushes to try and get into the FedEx Cup playoffs. Of course, they changed from the top 125 to the top 70, which means that's even more competitive than ever. JT Poston was in it. Justin Thomas was looking for it. Cameron Young wanted a big week if he could push up from the mid 40s into the 30s to try and lock in that tour championship spot. Again, Tony Finau, who's again in the rough like 50s or 40s or so, still trying to get some more footing. So a pretty solid field for albeit a lower ranked tournament. But for Lee Hodges to go wire to wire is certainly impressive. So I want to give him a shout out. While the story though isn't necessarily on Lee Hodges, it really comes down to JT Poston, who, by the way, don't know if you know this, also sponsored by our friends over at Megacorp. No free ads.
That's mega.
Well, honestly, what might be more mega than the advertiser on his hat is the approach shot on the 18th hole where he needs an eagle to go into a playoff with Lee Hodges, bounces off a rock, hits a second rock, and goes into the water. And what we could call, actually, hold on, let's really change this.
It's not just a boulder.
Wait, hold on. Wait.
It's a rock.
Well, I said here in the notes here, it says JT Poston with the most break your heart moment on 18. I'm actually going to say this with the most. Hold on.
The Pioneers used to ride those babies for miles.
Oh my God. That's terrible. For those of you watching on YouTube, we're changing the title here. With the most mega disappointing loss for the season, again, landed in the water, wound up shooting 10, lost 5 strokes total, 3 strokes total, and wound up finishing tied for second. That shot, by the way. Now, like I get it, like we're all playing to win, so you want to take the aggressive approach. It cost him $280,000.
I saw that.
Instead of finishing solo second, finishing tied for second with 5 other guys, could have made $280,000 more. However, Poston said afterwards, I would do that. I would attempt that shot 10 times out of 10 if I had the choice. I tend to agree with him. It certainly makes sense, but a really disappointing end for JD. You know how many things you can get for $280,000?
That I just saw. So you know how randomly, you're a Facebook peruser yourself. Mm-hmm. Randomly, your friends from high school or whatever it may be, like they'll share like real estate listings because they're like looking to buy a house or something.
Yeah.
Buddy, I gotta send you this one that somebody shared. It is one of the nicest houses I have seen in West Berlin, New Jersey, which is about like an hour north of me, right outside Cherry Hill. $269,000. This backyard is probably worth $269,000. I was flabbergasted that it was that low of a price, and everything in the house looked brand new. The outdoor portion of the house was impeccable. I would have still had money in my pocket if I had $280,000 after purchasing that house.
That's terrible. A literal shack about 1.5 miles out the road from me sold for $1 million.
I hate the house flippers.
Call it what you want. Well, no, like the house was like an actual shack, but it's the property value of Long Island that's pushing it over the edge. So like those, like I hate the housing market, and it's crazy that you can get something like that for that low, because you can go to Georgia and get a mansion for like $400,000.
Mm-hmm.
Meanwhile, that same mansion on Long Island is like $2.5 million. It's absolutely ridiculous.
I'm gonna try to find this list.
But like $280,000 on one golf shot. I thought what was just funny is like there was a statistic in baseball when Miguel Cabrera signed his like mega extension with the Tigers. We're just
that was the best part about that was you were not trying to.
No, oh my God. So hold on, wait. When Miguel Cabrera signed his 10-year, $292 million deal, I forgot who it was, put out a whole thing about like he now is making per game double the median household income in the city of Detroit. Like he made like $8,000 a pitch, or like something absolutely like crazy. So, and it's so funny. The first headline here says Miguel Cabrera's mega extension.
I am personally submitting the word mega to be on the ballot for the inaugural Get in the Hole Podcast Hall of Fame.
Just the word?
Just the word mega.
Mega. I the worst thing is too is like out of context, like MAGA. It's too close.
You gotta say it properly. I sent you that link.
Yeah.
I want you to see this house that you could have bought if you finished solo second place. $264,900.
Let's see it.
I texted you the link.
Oh. Why can't we just put it up? Put it up.
I don't know if it would. It's
West New Jersey.
I'll put it in post.
I mean, the front of the house isn't anything to snuff at.
Right, but then you look at the rest of it.
But the inside of the house is gorgeous, and the backyard's amazing. That's crazy.
Wild. That's why you never judge a book by the cover.
And you even get a hot tub.
Exactly.
All right, I have a random question. Why is it that pools have such odd configurations? Like I went to my girlfriend's place the other day, and like her pool looks like it looks like someone literally just like took a thing of water, dropped it off of the water balloon, dropped it off of the deck, and just like the splatter pattern it made is how they designed the house. Yeah. Like I don't understand what like pool designers are thinking, putting a random like hump on the side of a pool.
Yeah, I don't know what goes into pool design. That is a great question.
I don't know. Whoa. This is so good.
If you are a pool designer, sound off in the YouTube comment section and let us know.
Please do. So, wait. They have news.
Da-na-na.
Mark Canna says that if he could finish his career with the Mets, it would be ideal because he loves the team so much.
Well, buddy, pack your bags. It's over for you.
No. He said it as he was leaving. So,
I
mean, the Mets may have gotten a reliever for free.
We have breaking news, too, from your neck of the woods in terms of the lacrosse space.
What? A new Long Islander?
Dylan Malloy has been released into the player pool.
Who's that?
I believe he's from Long Island. He was very, very good for the Chrome last year and in the championship series, and has kind of fallen off. But he's going to get signed. He's too good not to be on a roster.
Dylan Malloy?
I could be wrong. He went to Brown.
Ew, Brown? I'm sorry. Like there's a I respect the Ivies. Brown is like the worst one, right? We used to play Brown in hockey, and we used to literally like go to the games, and we chant, "Poop is Brown, poop is Brown."
Yeah, he went to St. Anthony's.
Oh, fuck.
He's from Setauket.
Oh, that's where I'm from. What's up, Dylan Malloy? I hate your high school, but
he's probably gonna be a Redwood before we know it.
Damn it! All right, fine.
Calling the shot there.
Join the roster. You know who I hope doesn't join the roster? Justin Thomas. Segues are weird. So Justin Thomas is
been a rough year.
Yeah. So crazy stat that I conjured up. I'm surprised no one else talked about it. He's tied the most missed cuts in a season since 2016-17 with 6. Ironically, though, in 2016-17, he did the following, which again makes this like whole thing even crazier. And I put this out on the actually I put it out on my personal Twitter, and also proceeded to put it on
at Stephen McAvoy _.
Indeed. He won 5 times in 24 events. He had 11 top 10s. He won a major at the PGA. He was the PGA Tour leading money winner. He was the PGA of America Golfer of the Year, the PGA Tour Player of the Year, and he won the FedEx Cup. Despite missing 6 cuts. This year, he's missed 6 cuts. He's only had 3 top 10s. He's played in more events, and now he's on the precipice of missing out on not only the playoffs, but the Ryder Cup roster as well. DataGolf put out a study forecasting the guys who are locks and or alleged players who will make the roster for the Ryder Cup team. Justin Thomas is currently all the way behind. He's currently at 18% behind Brian Harman at 20, Denny McCarthy at 20, Bryson DeChambeau at 22, Russell Henley at 27, Keegan Bradley 29, Sam Burns 30, Patrick Reed 30, Dustin Johnson 36. Like, he's behind multiple live golfers, and the fact that you're behind those kind of guys is kind of shocking.
Especially those three were like, yes, like DJ and Bryson have had like their successes when they were on the PGA Tour, and like, but like you don't hear their names as often as you used to.
No, well, so there's multiple things to this. So DataGolf's measuring the Ryder Cup chances based on a couple of factors, one of which being past performances in Ryder Cups. Now, like, JT's really good, but historically, Dustin Johnson and Patrick Reed have been lights out in the Ryder Cup. Bryson's been good. Bryson's made the last 2 Ryder Cup teams. But as guys who now play on live, your only measurement for points are coming off of majors.
Right.
Now, albeit all of them have A, made all 4 cuts in majors, A, and B, in the case of Johnson and Reed, do have at least 1 top 20 finish. So I guess like in that situation, like, you can obviously like put them in the category, but like JT's behind like Denny McCarthy, who I've been bullish on, who's been a very good player this year. But as somebody like Justin Thomas, who as of last year at this point in time was a top 6 golfer in the world, he's now down up to, I believe, almost the 30s, which is like crazy. Like, the fall off has been significant over the last few weeks. Let me confirm here that I'm right.
While you look for that, you know what I desperately need?
He's 26th. But
I need one of those voice automators or the actual voice actor of groundskeeper Willie from The Simpsons to say Denny McCarthy's name.
True.
It's the most Scottish sounding name.
Like, think about it. His drop off from top 10 golfer, he was last a top 10 golfer going into the Players in March. He's fallen all the way from 9th down to 24th. And it's been he hasn't had any sort of growth either. It's literally been 10th, 12th, 13th, 15th, 16th, 18th, 18th. All right, 1 spot up 17, 20, 20, and then 24th after this week. Missed the cut, under the cut line. Had a really bad week. He's currently 79th right now in the FedEx Cup standings. He's on bubble watch. Again, we're going to talk more about Justin Thomas's odds later on, but a disappointing season, to say the very least, for Justin Thomas. Like, what do we make of this? Where do we think there's a mental hiccup, a mechanical hiccup? But like, I don't even know how to explain how bad he's playing, because it isn't even like he's playing terrible. Like, his stats show a player who has chances. It's almost like what Sanjay has been doing for the last 2 years, where it's you make a ton of birdies, but no matter how many birdies you make, you're making doubles every 2 holes. So you're always taking 1 step forward and winding up 2 steps back.
Yeah, and this is on because I'm pretty sure preseason, you and I were both pretty high on JT coming into the year.
I mean, I was because the early part of the year, I was like, you know what, like, he has a chance to have not even a breakout year, but just continue to develop. Mm-hmm. And it was there for a few weeks, but then it got to the point, and this is what I've been saying for the last 3 months, especially whenever we're doing beer money or props. Like, the guy's so inconsistent. How can I trust him? He has 3 weeks where he's the best golfer in the world, and then he goes on a 5-week bender where it looks like he's drunk half the time. Like, I don't know what to expect from Justin Thomas. And like you could swirl the jokes like all you want. Like, his whole friend group of Smiley Kaufman, Ricky Fowler, Jordan Spieth, and now JT. It's kind of like every guy had their like moment. Like Smiley fell off. Granted, he totally quit off it and is now a great commentator, albeit. Like Ricky had his heyday and fell off. Now he's back. Jordan had his heyday, fell off. Now he's back. I think we're kind of seeing now the drop off of Justin Thomas. But the unfortunate reality is that a 2-time major winner as opposed to the 3- and 4-time major winners that Ricky and Jordan are, with more wins than JT ever had, not necessarily great to be the third best of the group.
It's like the Grim Reaper meme where he knocks on the doors.
It is, honestly, yeah.
Justin Thomas is the one where the Reaper's approaching.
You know what? I'm gonna make that meme and throw it up. But like it really is, honestly, it's unfortunate, and the fact that he's so far behind and is like getting to the point where we always talk about how like golfers don't, especially like the top 15, 20 guys in the world, don't need to play every week because they rack their points up when they do play. Like John Rahm can play 9 events a year, including the majors, like 15 events total. And he'll make the top 5 in the FedEx Cup because he'll probably rack up 2 wins. Probably won't finish any worse than like 30th, maybe twice. Like he's always in the mix somewhere. Like I think a stat that I read is Scotty Scheffler played half of the events and didn't like not even a matter like if he finished where he finished every single event, he would have only needed 7 events in the top 5 to have made the playoffs. Now JT is sitting at a point where in order to make the playoff in a field where you're competing against Sanjay Im, Nicky Matsuyama, Sam Burns, Russell Henley, Shane Lowry, Siwoo Kim, like guys who are still pushing for playoff spots, he needs to finish solo 18th or better in order to make the playoffs. And to be honest with you, if this was 2 years ago, I'd say, oh, easy money. Tall task for someone like JT now with the way he's playing. So
100%.
100%. We're going to talk more about JT and some other guys that are on the FedEx Cup bubble on the other side. But before we get to that, I want to discuss something that we I think I hinted on it last week to you guys privately. I don't know if you guys discussed it at all on the show, but Akshay Bhatia, he won the Barracuda the same week as Brian Harman. I think you and Ben talked about how the first time ever 2 lefties have won on the PGA Tour in the same day. It also is a rarity that you have 2 events happening on the same day anyhow. But the Akshay Bhatia situation is something that's been kind of festering on the minds of a lot of golf fans. And there was a really interesting article that was put out by Andrea Gassoni, I believe the name is, ironically on tennisworld.com, not even a golf website. But the headline literally reads, Akshay Bhatia picked the wrong first PGA win. Now, here's the whole thing with these situations. Obviously, got his first career PGA Tour victory at the Barracuda Championship the same week as the Open. Followed that up, following the event, went to the interview room, was like, wow, really excited to be getting into the FedEx Cup playoffs. Like, always wanted, this is a new peak to my career. However, despite winning, and typically how it works is if you have a win on the PGA Tour, you most likely get into the playoffs because it'll vault you with enough points total. However, ever since he finished second at the Puerto Rico Open, I think like 3 or 4 months ago, it was in March, I believe, he was put on to temporary membership exemption. So he didn't formally have his PGA Tour card. However, he was allowed to play with more leeway and more sponsor exemptions than others, similar to like how Asad Thagala last year started off his career, finished second at the Waste Management, and then got the exemption throughout the end of the year to basically be a temporary member of the PGA Tour 3 years out. What happened was, because you are a temporary member of the PGA Tour, you do not accrue FedEx Cup points for your performances and events. So despite the fact that Akshay Bhatia has multiple top 20 finishes in his season, his win at the Barracuda is not enough, along with the other events he played, to get into the playoffs. And he's currently sitting at 99th in the FedEx Cup championship, in the FedEx Cup standings, and of course, as we had mentioned, you need top 70 or better to make it. So a very shitty situation for somebody like Akshay. He had said, "I qualified for the playoffs to the FedEx Cup. It was an important objective for me. However, rejoiced. I want to get into the top 50 for next season." What wound up happening, of course, found out later on, not happening. Says the formal notice on the PGA Tour standards: special temporary members are not always eligible for FedEx Cup playoffs points unless they win a PGA tournament, but not all. He won the Barracuda after finishing 9th at the Barbasol. Unfortunately, those tournaments did not award FedEx Cup points to non-permanent PGA Tour members. As a result, he ranked 99th going into the FedEx Cup standing, still far off from the 70th overall. So he will need a major week this week, which he, of course, will be in the field as a full-time PGA Tour carrying member, similar to like Tom Kim, who made his first formal PGA Tour debut event as a card holder at the Linux Championship. Remember what happened the last time that happened? He won the event. So who knows? We might see
you could say Akshay needs a mega week.
I'm muting you for that. What's your opinion on the Matias situation? Should he have logically, because he was on special temporary exemption, should he have been receiving FedEx Cup points, or is this a loophole in the PGA Tour like bylaws that should be changed immediately?
I think
is it allowed? Is it fair to say that if you are not a formal card holding member, you shouldn't be getting points?
I can see both sides of the coin. I do think it's something that is kind of one of those weird loopholes, though, to dribble around some of the rules and stuff like that I think should be addressed and should be more communicated to the players that are in those situations, because when it's a top 70 that gets into the playoff now, like, that's a limited field. You have to kind of address that to the masses and let them know, hey, if you're going to qualify, you have to meet these certain thresholds and this, that, and the third. I do understand it, but I do think something should be fixed with that ruling, or it just needs to be communicated better. But we all know the PGA Tour simply has a communication issue to begin with.
Clearly.
But I do think that is something that needs to be fixed.
Yeah, I think it's not that I think it's ridiculous, because like it's the same idea as like an amateur playing in the Masters and winning. Like you're an amateur player, should you get a piece of the pot? Like for example, when Sam Bennett played in the Masters, his money got deferred to everybody else who finished top 20 with him. So it was like, I think he finished like 19th, let's say. Finished T19 with 4 other guys. Those 4 guys split the overall pot, and instead of dividing it by 5, it was divided by 4. He made no money. He got no points. He's an amateur in the field. He cannot qualify for any sort of money. I think once you're on special temporary exemption, you should be eligible for points, maybe to a limited degree. But at the end of the day, he won a tournament. Like, he won his way onto the PGA Tour. It isn't like Tom Kim last year, who won in his debut event in the last week of the year. Like, these things are, it's a very different situation. And I do feel bad for Akshay, because he's a talented player, and we've been touting on him for 3 years now. I've been saying
Akshay's Army.
Yeah, since I started the show, like, I've been all over this kid, because I was infatuated by his super skinny physique and the ability to hit it 380 yards. Like, it was ridiculous. So will he play well enough to get in at 99th right now? I don't know. I don't think if it's going to take JT a top 18 finish or better to make it at number 79, he might need a win or a top 5 or something like that in order to qualify. Is it plausible? Yeah, I think he has a chip on his shoulder, but certainly something to keep in mind as we push forward towards the FedEx Cup playoffs on the line. We're going to take a short break. On the other side, a little bit of commentary from Phil Mickelson, who's getting himself back into hot water. And as you mentioned, we're going to talk a lot of bubble predictions and maybe play a couple of fun mini games as we approach the final week of the PGA Tour regular season at the Wyndham Championship down in North Carolina. For KB, I'm Steve McAvoy. We'll be right back. Welcome back in, folks, to Getting the Whole podcast. Sponsored by our friends over at Wasted Wedge. KB, Steve-O here, bringing you the action all over the PGA Tour. KB, you were a swimmer back in the day.
Yes, it was.
To do a 100-meter breaststroke in 1 minute and 2 seconds, how impressive was that?
As a 13, 14-year-old, that is absolutely insane. When I saw that tweet, I was flabbergasted. Because not only did I swim, I also coached as well for 5 years. In that age group as well. 102 is like, that kid's going to be special.
Yeah.
If he continues to progress, like, he can be a certified menace in high school, in college, and for Team USA. 102 as a 13, 14, like, you're dusting a field if you're swimming like club level.
Yeah.
That is one of the most impressive feats in swimming that I've seen in a long time.
Yeah. Well, also, just a great name. For those of you who don't know what we're talking about, Ian Call just saw a tweet from USA Swimming. He won in the 13-14 national age group, breaking a record for the 100-meter breaststroke at 1 minute and 2 seconds. Minute and 2.64 seconds. Just like actually, like, and he's mowing these kids down too.
Yeah, he's
demoing everyone. It like put that like into perspective, like Olympic level possibly.
If he continues to like grow into his body and like continues to just like dedicate to the craft and everything, like that's a insanely impressive time for that age group in that event. That's a name I'm going to be keeping an eye on for sure.
This is a crazy question because it's totally unrelated to golf. But like the Mount Rushmore of athletes, right? Like, where do you put like a Michael Phelps on there? On it. Maybe like Usain Bolt. Like, I feel like a lot of Olympians are so different from like the multi-sport athletes, or like the Otanis and the Bo Jacksons, and then like you have like Wayne Gretzky, who's the greatest hockey player. But like athletically, is he really the greatest athlete ever? Like, I think there's a lot of like subjectivity, but like no one will ever be better than Michael Phelps. I don't think anybody will be faster than Usain Bolt.
Yeah,
like
and even now, like Katie Ledecky on the women's side of things, like she's a titan in the pool. She's gonna go down as one of the best. Like Serena Williams, again, like one of those athletes that like nobody's going to accomplish what Serena did. Roger Federer, Nadal, like it's all those sports that don't get the typical spotlight. And I mean, like Tiger Woods, there's so many of those like niche sports that don't get the typical highlights as your major four, that those athletes, you can easily make a Mount Rushmore with 4 athletes from those type of sports alone, and they'll go head to head with your Mount Rushmore of your major 4 sports.
Absolutely. And like honestly, I think it would be Phelps, Serena, Tiger. I mean, soccer is considered a major sport, obviously. Not in America, but
right.
If we're gonna put soccer in the niche area, I mean, you got to put Messi.
Agreed.
But if you want to pick another niche sport, I mean, what else is there that's hot?
I mean, Usain Bolt is a great example.
Yeah, Bolt certainly fits there. I mean, look, Jim Thorpe, realistically, honestly, not even as a football player, but as a decathlete,
lacrosse player.
That in and of itself, like, is absolutely ridiculous. You know who won't be on a Mount Rushmore anytime soon? Phil Mickelson. So, some more commentary from the world of Phil, as if getting into hot water has almost become his life's calling aside from golf. a PGA Tour memo from Jay Monahan outlined, which by the way, now Monahan's back and in full health, so shout out to him. Despite our disliking for him as a commissioner, we're glad that he is back to full health and is able to resume duties. A memo was sent out to the players this past week discussing the sanctions for LIV players as well as other information regarding the PGA and LIV merger. One of the things that was discussed was the idea that sanctions for players who jumped to LIV will vary on a player-to-player basis. This is directly taken from the memo from the Fried Egg, who tweeted this out. The PGA Tour and players who participated in LIVGolf and the PGA Tour will be given no favors. For example, Pat Perez, Phil Mickelson, and Taylor Gooch for those who took shots at the PGA Tour during their tenure. Those who left gracefully without parting shots at the tour, such as Brooks Koepka, Cameron Smith, and Dustin Johnson, will likely be welcomed back with fewer penalties. Overall, expect a lot of LIV players to be forced to earn back their card through Q School or the Korn Ferry Tour if they want to play on the PGA Tour again. Which, by the way, did I not say this about 4 months ago? And I had Ben in my ear saying, oh, no, they never go to Q School. They never go back to the Korn Ferry Tour. They're the best players in the world. Who the fuck cares? What else are you going to do? Find them $1 million? They make that a week. Yeah, send them to Q School. Let him beat up. Let Dustin Johnson beat up a bunch of 20-year-olds. I want to see Ben with a 7-stroke deficit behind Dustin Johnson in the final pairing. Like, I'm sorry, Ben, but come on. Like, how? There's no other way you can penalize these guys. You have to send them somewhere. What are you gonna do? Like, make them play alternate events for the first year? Like,
I want to get that kid. You'll remember this since you're a Mets fan. Do you remember that kid who like snapped on the Mets when you guys lost like 23-8, and he just went absolutely nuclear on the whole team?
No.
It went like super. It was like probably like 2017. It was when Terry was still the manager. And
scary Terry. Our ass on the top now, Terry.
There is a line that this kid says that Dylan Mazzola and I, whenever this player pops up, which he recently did, we have to tag each other on social media in it.
Wait, I know exactly this.
When he goes, you got Kevin Plawecki out here. Your little Barbie doll.
Boy, he has the most like Southern plantation owner.
He's from New York.
He literally goes, "Come here, boy."
Kevin Plawecki.
Oh, Kevin Plawecki.
Get the hell out of here and go to the minor leagues, boy. Get the hell out of here and go to Q School, boy.
Ray Ramirez, you mole face.
He calls Terry an orange in that video. It's so funny. Little did he realize that Terry Collins' replacement would be Mickey Callaway, who stalks reporters. Meet the Mets.
One day I'm going to have a rant about the Mets on one of these shows. Honestly, if I go on the main pod and we're talking Phillies Mets, I'm going to have a rant sufficiently better than when Stephen A. Smith was chatting about Lamar Odom
or Kwame
who
Brown.
was on crack.
Or Kwame Brown. He's a bona fide scrub. He can't play.
He's a bona fide scrub. Oh
he
my
can't
God.
play.
I will have one of those rants one day, and I'm just waiting.
I think we have to do it at the end of the season.
So, getting back to the actual matter at hand here. So the tour memo discussing that certain players who took shots at the tour will be sanctioned heavier than those who were not. Phil Mickelson commented on somebody who tweeted out the post and said, "What a colossal waste of time. Not a single player on LIV wants to play PGA Tour. It would require a public apology and restitution to LIV players for paying millions to clout media to disparage all of us. A better topic is future sanctions for the many players who now come to LIV." Let's break this down. Just for S's and G's, sentence by sentence, let's break down what he's talking about. What a colossal waste of time. What is, Phil? Weren't you the one who said, I'm calling out the PGA Tour to make it better because we should all thrive to make the tour better? And the reason why I'm joining LIV is because I want a better future and eventually to play on the PGA Tour, which segues in well here. Not a single player on LIV wants to play PGA Tour. Brooks Koepka, Dustin Johnson, Patrick Reed, Taylor Gooch didn't want to leave in the first place. He thought he was going for a week vacation to London. And Jay Monahan instead said, "Take the notice and shove it up your asshole." These guys want to play on the PGA Tour. They like the PGA Tour. They've openly said, "Let's get back together."
Harold Varner.
Phil, people do want to play on the PGA Tour. Abraham Answer said he regrets playing on LIV. God damn it. Shut up. It would require a public apology and restitutions to LIV players for paying millions to clout media to disparage all of us. So you're going to take all of this and everything that you said about, I get it, the Saudis kill Americans and they have human rights issues, but how can you turn the money down? And you're going to pin all this and your comments and your stupidity and your backing of LIV, and you're going to pin on the media for calling you an ass?
Clout media at that.
Come on, man. There have been so many times where Phil Mickelson has jumped into the water head first. I don't know if it's because his publicist is he isn't listening. This is a tweet, and I'm not getting political. Tailor-made for Donald Trump.
Mm-hmm.
Something where your publicist and your PR team said, "Don't you dare tweet this," and he's there on the other side of the room with the little click, like fucking Dennis the Menace, just ready, staring at you like a cartoon character in the corner when he's like, "Don't you do it, don't you do it," and it's like the slow motion capture of his finger going towards the button. It's just mush.
Yep. That's a great analogy there, and we've had recent court hearings in our country about aliens existing and the MCU bringing in Skrulls and things of that nature. I'm starting to kind of believe that Phil Mickelson was replaced by a Skrull or an alien when he went to LIV.
You've been really big on the Skrull drama, it's all over your Twitter.
Oh yeah, it's fun. It's fun now that aliens are exist, and if you didn't believe they existed, you're kidding yourself. But now that it's out there and in front of Congress and everything, it's very funny to see the parallels between real life events and the events of the MCU. Everyone wants to talk about The Simpsons and them predicting things. The MCU's not far behind.
What's more scary, the idea of aliens taking over the world or AI?
AI, 100%.
You don't think aliens with now look, you know what?
Because at least with aliens, they have their own consciousness, as far as we know, and you'd be able to forge together with the aliens. AI is unpredictable.
I don't know, man. Have you ever seen Mars Attacks?
Sure, but that's almost like if you took AI and implanted it into the aliens.
Have you ever? Do you remember the old video game Destroy All Humans?
Yeah, it's terrifying. You seen Smart House?
I hate that
Disney
movie.
Channel original. Yeah,
hate that movie.
You want to talk about AI taking over the world? Watch Smart House.
You know, two scary ass movies, two films I absolutely hate. One's scary, one's just dumb. Smart House and Monster House. Why are we talking about houses so much?
Yes.
Jesus. Anyways, again, off the second tangent of this segment. Phil wraps up saying, a better topic is future sanctions for the many players who now come to live. So what you're saying is that the sanctions on a per player basis is a waste of time. It's a colossal or mega waste of time. But we should still be giving sanctions to these players. None of this doesn't really add up to me, nor does it really make sense. Oh, also he has bookend laughing, crying face emojis in his tweet, which is so Phil.
Yeah.
Is he senile? Like should we be more concerned about Phil Mickelson or Mitch McConnell?
Ooh.
It's a big question mark. I think both of them might be holding in a colossal poop.
Yeah.
Possibly.
One of them might have let one out on national television.
Well, I don't know if you saw it, but who was it? I totally forgot who it was. A golfer at the Open farted mid-swing, and you heard it, off the tee. You heard the.
He's just like me, for real.
I gotta find that. Trudging forward, so FedEx Cup bubble talk. So a lot of guys going into this week are in the field at the Wyndham Championship due to the fact that not necessarily they are either, well, none of them are really safe. Some guys are in on the inside looking out. Some guys are on the outside looking in, and some guys are looking out a window, through another window, through a third window, just hoping to God they can get in.
Shout out dear Evan Hansen.
Literally, thank you for the reference here. So I'm gonna rattle off some guys who are currently on the bubble. I want you to tell me what you think the chances are that they are in or if they are out. And then also, we're also going to combine this bubble talk with some prop bets brought to you by our friends over at Wasted Wedge, as we mentioned earlier. WastedWedge.com, your home for the best quality wasted wedges around. So the bubble watch. We started off with Hideki Matsuyama, currently ranked 56th in the FedEx Cup standings. He's about 120 points ahead of the field. Should bode pretty well, so long as it doesn't completely miss the cut. But do we think Hideki Matsuyama will be in or out of the playoffs by the end of the week?
I think he's in. He's too calculated, and I think he knows where he's standing right now. So I think he's gonna be in at the end of the weekend.
Yeah, Hideki's had a pretty rock solid season for the most part. Despite a missed cut at the Rock and Mortgage, has had finishes within the top 35 in every event dating back to the Arnold Palmer. So he's certainly on a heater. He's only has, I believe, 1 or 2 top 10s on the year. So hasn't necessarily been at the peak that we hoped for someone like Hideki to be, especially very shortly removed from his win at the Masters a couple of years ago, but last year. But certainly a player that we're keeping our eyes on. Keith Mitchell is right behind Hideki at 57th. A bit of a gap between Hideki and Keith, about 35 points. But Keith Mitchell has not been the most consistent player this season on tour. And again, I've been very bullish on him all year, but has kind of taken a bit of a hit despite a top 5 finish this past week. Got kind of off the hump and has been able to claw his way back. Missed the last 2 events with a missed cut. He has 4 missed cuts dating back to post Masters, and only has 2 of those finishes in the last 10 weeks have been top 6 finishes. Otherwise, he's not finished any better than 42nd since then. So what do you think? Keith Mitchell in or out at 57th right now in the standings?
I think he's out.
It's a big jump.
I think he's going to be out.
Missed the cut this week?
I'm leaning towards it. The inconsistencies speak for themselves. The amount of missed cuts speak for themselves. And if you can't consistently make the cut, you're going to be playing with pressure on your shoulders. And I think that could weigh on him. And it wouldn't shock me if he's out.
Yeah, Keith Mitchell has not fared well either at the Wyndham. He missed the cut in 2019, finished 55th and 54th the following 2 years. So not very good recent success at the Wyndham whatsoever. I don't know. It's a big toss-up here for someone like Keith, who needs at the very least to make the cut in order to get in, albeit he has the last 2 years, but still a relatively tight window for him to be fitting in. Those 10 guys in the back are all very, very close. We then move on to Shane Lowry at 76th in the standings. A surprising year from Shane Lowry, who has been on a heater for majors, but aside from that, has not really been the kind of player that everyone had hoped for him to be, or at least this season. It's been a challenging year, to say the very least. He missed the cut this past week. He finished 7 over. Very uncharacteristic of someone like Shane Lowry. Although the last 6 weeks from the PGA on, 12th, 16th, 43rd, 20th, 19th, 12th, has multiple top 20 finishes. Just hasn't gotten enough, especially in bigger events, in those designated events, to get higher up in the standings. So what do we make of Shane Lowry at 76 on the outside looking in? Will he make it with a decent-sized finish this week?
I think he will. I think he gets in. I think he sneaks in and makes his way into the playoff.
Shane Lowry will need at least, I believe, a top 30 finish in order to make the playoffs. So we'll see how that fares for him. We go to the next guy in the standings. Actually, before him, 77th, Justin Suh, who's working on a exceptional rookie campaign for himself. Possible Rookie of the Year candidate. It's debatable. But do we think Justin Suh makes it in with at least the top 30 finish this week?
Yes. I think he will. I think he'll sneak in too.
I'm actually kind of on the border here. I think he's a little bit off just by enough. I don't think he's going to make it in by the narrowest of margins. This field is relatively stacked, and he'll need at least the top 30. It's plausible, but I think he might barely miss out. Pushing over Justin Thomas. This is now this is the name we've all been sitting on. 79 needs a finish 18th or better this week to make it. Any shot?
I mean, there's always a chance, but it's so slim. I'm going to, unfortunately for JT, have to say no.
I was calculating his handicap earlier this week. Over the last 6 weeks, so his last 24 rounds of golf, he has a handicap of, wait for this, 3. He is not a scratch golfer in the last 6 weeks.
He's just like me, for real.
Literally. Missed cut at the Memorial, missed cut at the US Open, top 10 at the Travelers, which is an easy golf course, missed cut at the Rocket Mortgage, 60th at the Scottish, and then back-to-back missed cuts at the Open and the 3M. Despite, actually, his 2 lowest scores of 62 and 64 at the Travelers, has not shot any better than 67 since then, which is not a good leave for someone like JT. I really hate to say this. I think he's going to miss a third straight cut, miss the most cuts in his career, and will not make the playoff. Will not make the FedEx Cup roster. The Ryder Cup roster. I think JT is completely out, and this last ditch effort won't do it. We're going to package these 3 guys in together because they're all in a requirement of at least a top 10 or better in order to get in. Gary Woodland currently at 97th, Adam Scott at 81st, and Billy Horschel way out there at 116. Will any of them make a push this week at the Wyndham to possibly get in? Again, it's going to take basically a win from Billy, a top 5 from Gary, and at least a top 10 from Adam Scott.
I'm going to go no on all 3.
I am bullish on Adam Scott. If you recall from last year, Scott was in the four-way playoff, I think it was, 4 or 5-way playoff, to get in to win the Wyndham last year, I believe. If I'm not wrong. No. Am I crazy? Was it or was it 2 years ago? Hold on, wait. Yeah, it was Adam Scott, wasn't it?
I think so.
Oh wait, hold on, wait. Was that 2020? Yeah, all right. It was 2020. 2 years ago, was in the 4-way playoff with Kevin Na and Kevin Kisner. Eventually lost to Kisner, but I think he has a good chance this year. He always plays well at the Wyndham, so I'm bullish on Adam Scott. I think a top 10 is possibly in his future. Could very well break him in. I think he's got a decent shot this week. Otherwise, the other two I'm out on. Finally, we end number 99 in the FedEx Cup standings. Akshay Bhatia. Does he make it?
I would love it, just for the sake of the brand of the pod. It's gonna be tough.
Yeah, he'll need at least a top 10 here in order to get close. I'm questioning things. I don't know, but
I'm gonna manifest it.
Yeah,
but
like heavily manifesting going on.
We're gonna need a hashtag Akshay's Army in the YouTube comment section from everybody.
Yeah, it's just a hard pick in general. By the way, reading an article right now from the Action Network, Jason Stovall is actually betting on Billy Horschel at a long odds to possibly win. He says this on Billy Horschel. It was fewer than 2 months ago when Horschel posted an opening round 84 at the Memorial and faced the media, speaking through tears about how difficult the game can be and how hard he was working at it. In the time since, his results hadn't really shown much reason for optimism. Finished 43rd at the U.S. Open, 65th at the Scottish Open, and 2 missed cuts. But he believes watching Horschel at the practice range a few times feels like he's on the right path. Last week moved him to half the outright price as last week in a better field. He's on the same kind of area as like Adam Hadwin and Alex Smalley. So someone who he's targeting, not only from a betting side but also from a general chances to win. I don't know. Seems really interesting. He finished T13, so this past week. So I think there's a shot for Billy Ho to maybe get in, but we'll have to see about that. Final break here. On the other side, some beer money discussing all things for the Wyndham Championship. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back right here on the Get in the Hole podcast. Final segment here on the show. We are going right into beer money, brought to you by our friends over at Kenwood Beer, Philadelphia's top #1 favorite light lager. The same calories as a Bud Light, but much crisper and better taste. And the rebrand is
even less now.
On absolute fire. Even less. Don't you love rebrands? I absolutely love it.
8 grams of carbs now.
You got to find Kenwood Beer on kenwoodbeer.com. Use the Kenny Tracker. Find them at your local Whole Foods and other Packies, as you do they call it Packies that down in Jersey and
not that
Philly?
See the difference is we can't sell alcohol in anything but a liquor store in New Jersey.
Yes.
So we're
same thing in like New England.
But in your Pennsylvania areas, you can get it at, your Walmarts, your Whole Foods, stuff like that, which is always like throws my brain for a loop. When I walk into one of those and I'm just like, oh, yeah, you can do that here. Kenwood also now available in select areas in Pittsburgh.
Very cool.
Making their way across the state.
Still waiting to get my hands on one.
Shout out to the Yinzers. Well, if you're back from your vacation, which I believe you will be in September when Deej and I are at PLL Long Island.
Yeah. My vacation begins on Wednesday, and I'm back the next Wednesday, so I'll be around. So, we'll make it happen.
I'll bring the Kennys.
Perfect.
Plus, we might be making a trip to another one of our sponsors. So
we'll make it happen. We lead off with a top 20 pick at the Wyndham Championship. Who are you taking, KB?
Top 20. This is not my top 20 pick, but it is fascinating that you can get Hideki on a certain sports book at plus money for a top 20.
Really? What?
Plus 110.
What?
Yeah. I might do that as a side bet cuz like
What?
that's
He's
crazy.
the second guy on the odds board.
He's number 1 on this one that I'm looking at, which is you never see that.
What the hell is this? I now have to like dig into this now. I'm
It's
curious.
a certain green sports book. But
You're
top
what? Oh my god!
yeah.
Lock me in 401k.
Always-
Pension fund. I'll sell my house.
Always shop your lines, folks. Shout out to my boy Hutton Jackson from the Action Network. Shop your
shit.
lines.
110?
Plus 110 at top 20. Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy.
That's disgusting.
I'm looking here at my top 20s, though. I'm going to go with one of your guys. I'm going to go with Ludwig
Ludwig Aberg.
at
Yes.
plus 210.
Just so everybody knows, I will be betting in this tournament. Hideki, Siwoo, Denny, and Akshay, top 20 and better in every single spot. The fact that you can get Hideki at plus 110 for a top 20, 225, 400, and then 18-1. What the fuck is that?
And there's an odds booster for the winner to add plus 300 to a winner.
What also makes no sense though is that how Hideki is minus 165 for a top 30, but is 110 for a top 20. The positionality of that makes zero sense.
I'm locking that in right now just in case that moves.
Yeah.
How much are we going to mutually bet on plus 110 Hideki top 20? This feels very Ricky Boys-esque.
Pizza and beer money, give it like $5. Double the money at plus value too. Like not for nothing. This isn't a flat plus 100 bet. You're gaining some cents. I'll throw $5 on it.
I put a
And
10 piece.
And at this point, for a top 20, I'll probably wind up playing a little mini parlay. You can't do it on that green sportsbook, but for Matsuyama, Denny, and probably Siwoo, all top 20 is a pretty solid play in my eyes. My top 20, for the money, I'm going to play it. Fuck it. Hideki, top 20. I want it. I'm locking it in so everyone else can pick it. I would also actually agree with you though that I would take Ludwig Aberg for top 20, but for shits and giggles, I will take a top 20 and I will run it to the bank. Top 10, who you got?
Top 10, let's see here. I mean, you can also get Hideki, like Steve said, a plus 225 or a top 10.
Which I'll also probably take.
Top 10.
By the way, you can get Ludwig at plus 120 for a top 30. That's a gimme pick. Full layup.
Top 10. I'm taking Shane Lowry at plus 350.
I dig. Top 10. Besides me taking Denny McCarthy for a top 10 5-end winner, I will jump in the pool with you know what? He plays well here, and I have a crazy, funny little feeling it might work. Billy Horschel plus 600 for a top 10 this week, trying to push his way into the playoffs. Has not missed the playoffs in like 6 years. So
I do have to ask you again, who were the guys that you were saying that you were going to play to win, even though you can't parlay them?
Hideki, Denny, Siwoo, and probably Ludwig. And if you want someone like absolutely fucking crazy to just throw super odds at, Akshay is 60-1, and I feel like he's like pissed off about this whole FedEx Cup thing.
Yeah.
So
because there's like tournament props and stuff. that you can play that are like makeshift parlays.
You know what? Here, sit on those and ask me them at the very end.
Okay.
Top 5 though. Who you got?
Top 5. Also, like Steve said, you can get that kit plus 400 at the top 5.
Give me all of them.
I also find it very strange that Sungjae Im is at plus 500 for a top 5, but Russell Henley's a plus 450. But they're both the same odds to win.
You should honestly play Sungjae in the top 5.
Oh, yeah.
Rate. The odds.
I am. That's my pick. There it is.
You know what it is. The odds makers are looking at the window championship. No one's betting on this. So they're being lackadaisical with the lines here, guys. Henley and Sungjae are both 20-1 to win. But you can get Sungjae at a better price than Henley. I'll take Sungjae every day.
Sungjae at plus 500, and I'm going to also give everybody these as well. Siwoo Kim, Sam Burns, both plus 550, and Denny McCarthy's plus 650.
I'm going to play every single Denny McCarthy line from make or miss the cut to win the tournament.
Denny McCarthy's also plus 320 for a top 10.
I love him. Top 5, I'm taking Denny.
It's a great pick.
Again, taking Denny to win too. So do not discount the 25-1. I'm actually top 5 for Denny. Who's your gimme play?
My gimme play. Let's see here. Trying to give the people a good play, but also it still be a gimme. Akshay top 40 plus 105.
I've played this 3 times this year, all in the last 5 weeks, and it's hit every time. Justin Thomas to miss the cut is plus 225. I will lock that in, and I will run it home. I'm also going to take Akshay for a top 20. So you really want to keep. I'm throwing you guys darts today. I'm convinced, honestly, completely convinced, we might have, combined at least, a perfect betting card for the first time in the show.
Yeah,
we've come very close. We've had 4 out of 5 picks, 5 out of 6. We're coming very close. Hold on, wait. Judy's on the phone.
Oh boy,
we gotta ask her. We gotta ask her here. All right, here we go. Ma, top 5 pick this week: Akshay Bhatia or Denny McCarthy? Who do you like more?
Say it again.
Top 5 pick: Wyndham Championship, PGA Tour regular season finale. Akshay Bhatia versus Denny McCarthy. Who wins?
Bhatia.
Akshay Bhatia, top 5. There you go.
Akshay's Army confirmed. Mom's on board.
Because you listed it first.
Well, no, I think both of them are going to win the event, but this is simply from an odds point of view.
I see. Are you on your podcast?
Yes, I'll call you in 5 minutes.
Hello, people in podcast land.
The last time you were on the show, you asked me how you looked, and I said you looked terrible.
How do I look tonight?
You look all right.
Thank you. I miss you.
Your glasses scream like Elton John.
Oh, thank you.
Not Barry this time.
I'm buying the airplane foot hammocks.
Oh, Kay wanted them.
Oh, okay.
I don't know, man. An 8-hour flight to Munich. If I can get a foot hammock, it's kind of lit.
I don't know. I did a 10-hour to Hawaii, and I didn't need a foot hammock, but okay.
I don't think I need a foot hammock. Do I want a foot hammock? Then I'm going to return immediately afterwards. Yeah.
Okay, let's the camera.
I also bought a neck pillow, and I'm going to return that one now immediately following the trip.
Who has the fanny pack?
Me.
Oh, no.
Yes.
Yes, pro fanny pack here.
It is not a true fanny pack. It goes over the shoulder.
Yes.
And I'm going to put all my stuff
It's a game
in
changer.
front of me because Malta is notorious for pickpocketers.
It's a game changer.
So I'm not going to keep this shit in my pockets.
On that note, I'll let you get back to your podcast.
She looks at me like I'm crazy.
I'm in your corner. I'm pro fanny pack.
I could have easily spent $40 at Lululemon on a fanny pack.
It's a game changer.
It really is.
As somebody who travels a lot,
Okay, that's cool. All right. I love you.
Bye-bye.
I love you.
I'm very pro fanny pack. It's a game
Akshay top
changer.
5 from Judy.
There it is. We got to put it on the card.
Yeah, so Akshay top 20 for a gimme, as well as Justin Thomas to miss the cut. Your winning pick.
My winning pick, like we said, you can get Hideki at plus 1,800, and then there's a booster on the sports book we've been using.
Plot twist. I'm gonna take.
Sanjay M, Russell Henley also plus 2,000, Siwoo Kim plus 2,200, Danny McCarthy plus 2,500. Yeah, I'm taking Hideki because, like I mentioned when you were running down, the bubble watch and everything, I think Hideki's going to be locked in. He knows where he is in the standings, and he's going to want to, go out with a bang and secure his spot for the playoffs. So give me Hideki at baseline plus 18, and if you're using the sports book that I'm using right now, plus 21 on the booster.
21. Can you
do something for me?
Thank you. Can you talk to my pussy ex for me? It's a really good song, bro. I'm gonna take someone who I actually already mentioned, and it's kind of dumb that I took him earlier, and I should take him. I'm gonna take him again. Not only am I gonna take him for a top 5, at plus 650. I want to take him to win at 25-1. He's the best player in this field without a PGA Tour victory, which is ironic because Akshay has one, but Danny McCarthy doesn't. He finished second at the Memorial. He's been on an absolute heater. I need to read you these, and I read this off probably a month ago. Dating back to his top 6 at the Butterfield Bermuda Championship, which was in last October. Had a rough fall, 53rd, 46th, 32nd to begin the new year. Since the AT&T Pelvies Pro-Am, 4th, 14th, 13th, 19th, 25th, 11th, 8th, 30th, missed the cut. From the Memorial onward, 2nd, 20th, 7th, 6th, missed the cut at the Open. Whatever. It's a major at the Open. I'll give it to him. He has 3 top 10s in his last 4 events, and that's a pretty big-ass tournaments. I love Danny McCarthy this week in an event that has been statistically known as a putting contest. Denny, 25-1. For top 5 and to win, and just like Hideki, I will pick him also in every single number from make the cut to winning the tournament. Those are the plays. You said, though, you had some other fun tournament props. I want to hear these.
Yes.
And let's rattle some off.
So the sports book that I use here to look at everything, they have like tournament specials, which they don't really have anything too crazy in there right now, but they have double chance and triple chance props. So it's basically the double chance is this guy or this guy to win. So we have Sanjay M or Hideki to win at plus 800.
Nah.
We have
I think Hideki's got a shot. I think Sanjay is going to be too hot and too cold, and it's going to be one of those birdie bogey kind of weeks. But again, like Hideki hasn't shown me that he can win a tournament outright, even in a mediocre field. So I'm iffy on that.
We have Russell Henley or Shane Lowry to win at plus 1,100.
I would rather take them for a top 10. Either or.
These ones are all just to win.
Yeah. If they had a prop where it was top 10 for Henley and or Lowry, I would take that.
Then we have at plus 700 Russell Henley, Shane Lowry, Siwoo Kim to win.
Better, and I consider it. The problem is that at plus 700, yeah, I'm getting triple the options, but they're not as convincing of options. Like give me a prop that has like Denny McCarthy in it.
Let's see.
And if there happens to be one, and I guarantee you it'll be long odds, Denny, Akshay, and somebody else, I will take that. Depending who the third is.
Let's see. Denny. So the longest odds on the triple chance with Denny is Denny, Aaron Rye, Chris Kirk to win at plus 1,300.
I don't want that at all.
The longest double, which is just this or that. Let's see. Again, plus 1,300. Denny or JT Poston to win it, plus 1,300.
After a strong week from Poston, I think it's plausible. That's something that I'll be curious about because he is a very good player. I like to give him plenty of credit. This is actually a play that I find really fun at plus 800. Is Burns, Siwoo, or Denny to win? And then actually, in addition to that one, where did I just see it?
Do you think Denny could lead after round 1? Since you're very high on-
Absolutely.
Do you want a ridiculous long shot since you are big on Denny to win this week?
Is
So
it like
to lead
is it-
after round 1 and win?
it's probably? Ooh, that's got to be at least 110 to 1.
It's plus 20,000.
All right, fine, 200 to 1. I like that. If you want to take Denny for first round leader, the number is probably like 45 to 1, 46 to 1, probably like thereabout.
Let's see.
Like again, just to lead.
Right.
I would also very much like Denny McCarthy for a bogey-free round in round 1 at plus 550. That's like easy golf course. It's a country club golf course. It's a resort kind of place. It isn't impeccably challenging. It's a gettable golf course because it's made for guys to get into the playoffs. Like if you notice the last 3 weeks, actually 2 weeks, post-Open, the 3M, Twin Cities, is a gettable golf course. This is a gettable golf course. Kevin Kisner won at Wyndham 2 years ago. Tom Kim, in his debut, won at Wyndham. This is a gettable golf course for younger name golfers. I think it's a putting contest. I like Denny in all areas. I also like Ludwig. I like the fact that Akshay Bhatia can hit it 320 yards and be ahead of the entire field, which is why I think all these plays are making sense. So that's it. KB, final thoughts for you on this jam-packed show to round out the PGA Tour regular season.
Other than, obviously, do the normal, subscribe to the podcast feed. Big week again. Back on the U.S. golf charts was the Get in the Hole podcast. So thank you guys for subscribing, downloading, and listening. Keep doing that. Because I do have to say, Steve, I haven't even sent this in the group chat yet. I was just looking at year-over-year numbers from last season to this season. Biggest year of growth for the Get in the Hole podcast in show history. So, bravo to you and Benny Boy for holding it down and having a fantastic tour season. And subscribe to the YouTube channel so our boy DJ doesn't have to move to Alaska.
What?
Yeah, if we don't get to 1,000 subscribers on the main YouTube channel before DJ's birthday on September 4th, he has to fly from Gillette Stadium, where we'll be covering the PLL, to Alaska, because that's just how them's be the breaks.
Why's he going to Alaska?
That was a proposal from the one and only Christian Wisniewski, co-host of Streamer Season, where we said something bad has to happen if we don't get to 1,000 subscribers in a certain amount of time. And we
we're
said,
just going to throw
DJ's
DJ on a
birthday.
flight.
Yeah. So DJ's going to be moving to Alaska if we don't get to 1,000 subscribers, which we are very far off from with the time constraints we have as we're recording this on July 31st. We're at 517 subscribers. So we need the people to start coming through if you don't want to see DJ near the Northern Lights.
Can I make a suggestion?
Lay it on me.
There is a place that I think we should specifically put DJ.
Okay.
If you don't mind me sharing my screen for a
Go
hot
for it.
segundo. As I share that and remove our banners from the show. Right here is the Bering Strait, which is the separation between Russia and Alaska. There's a little island here called Diomede. It is the furthest western place that is owned by America to the Russian coastline. This is literally the town.
It looks like New Asgard in Thor.
Exactly. We should move DJ to
We'll
this
just call
town.
it Dijamede.
It's a literal fishing village, and it is the furthest western point to continental U.S. Now, like obviously, like it isn't the furthest technically because you can actually go all the way out to here, but this is technically controlled by Russia. The nearest, I think, the Akshay station is actually owned by America, but like here compared to literally right there. Well, hello. This is like more than like Sarah Palin. I can see Alaska I can see Russia from the backyard. This is literally I can like swim and hit Russia.
Yeah, we're gonna rename that Dijamid.
Which, by the way, this is Big Diomede, which is just a mountain. this is Little Diomede.
That's gonna be DJ's rap name.
Little
Diomede.
Little Diomede. How cool is it though? It's literally New Asgard.
That's fascinating. I didn't even know that place existed, but
well, there you go. I think we should.
That's gonna be the place.
I think we should ship his ass to Diomede.
Yeah, so subscribe if you don't want to see Deej end up in New Asgard.
My only comment, I played a golf course out in Northport, Long Island. Shot 50 through the front, which technically started on the back. So shot a 50 on the back nine. Got to the first tee, had a couple of glizzies, took a nice poop, got out, hit a pipe drive up the middle. Beautiful laced 7-iron to the front of the green. Had about a 12, 13 footer uphill, breaking right to left. Nailed it for the birdie, and then my entire round was perfect on the front nine, quote unquote, my back nine hole. So shout out to me and my gorgeous looking hair.
One last bit here, just in case.
Barbara Dennis did a great job.
Oh yeah, phenomenal. The haircut has never been better.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Your boys, though, more Mets news. Apparently, the Mets are in talks with both the Dodgers and Astros about one Justin Verlander.
If Bobby Miller isn't the first name that's going in that Verlander deal, I don't want to hear it.
I saw a great parody tweet that said the holdup with Justin Verlander being traded is there is a clause in his no-trade clause that it has to get waived not only by Justin, but also by his brother Ben.
I thought you'd make a funny comment about how he's whipped from by Kate, but look, all
they said there's an A and a B clause, and Ben responded to it and said, "Yes, I'm the B clause because my name starts with B, and I am the less talented brother."
I feel really bad for like baseball wives. Like Mark Canna's wife is like, "Oh, where are we going, Mark? Oh, we're going to Milwaukee." She's like, "Oh."
Did you see her tweet the other day?
No.
She said, I think she said that she had like a hair appointment or something at some salon on Wednesday, so that's where she'll be.
I think it's hilarious. Like these wives get like thrown into situations where like you got to go wherever. Like if let's say like the suitor, right, for Justin Verlander was like the Diamondbacks. Do you think Kate Upton would accept moving from her high rise in like Greenwich or Manhattan to go to the desert?
She ain't gonna be in Arizona till the wild card.
No.
That is the thing with baseball. It is so like instant when you get traded that like having to scramble is so crazy.
If you were a baseball wife or even a sports wife in general, what's the one city you would not want your man to get traded to?
Utah.
That was so quick. Mine's Sacramento. I don't know what's in Sacramento.
Sacramento at least has like that. Sacramento has been put on the map as like a cool city because the Kings like the beam stuff this year at least, and like you're in California, so you have like good weather. Utah, there's no internet there. There's no Wi-Fi in Utah, and they're just weird people. The Mormons are very strange. Like
I don't know,
count
bro.
me
This is the first time Sacramento's ever has been relevant, arguably, in their history. Now, would I rather be on like Diomede? No, but
might be where DJ's at. Who knows what the Wi-Fi situation is out there?
Honestly, their closest thing to like television is probably like maybe the one house they shot that one scene where where Fat Thor's playing Fortnite.
Hey Thor, he's bullying me again.
Oh my God, Taika Waititi, man, national treasure. Or actually, you know what? Like, I think one of the Canadian cities would be like like Ottawa. Granted, it's like the capital of Alberta, right? Something like that, or Manitoba.
I think so.
But like, still, I don't know. Would I want to go to Ottawa? I don't know. Sorry, it's capital of Quebec. So I thought Ottawa was more in the center of the country and not like by Toronto and Montreal. Jesus.
Some pretty famous people from Sacramento, though. Believe it or not.
Like
Aaron Judge, Reese Hoskins, Dusty Baker is from Sacramento.
Fuck him. Who needs him?
Thanks for listening to Get in the Hole, the official golf podcast of Underground Sports Philadelphia. Catch us every week wherever you get your favorite podcasts, and be sure to like and subscribe on Apple, Spotify, and YouTube. You can follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Get in the Hole Pod, and follow Underground Sports Philadelphia at Underground PHI. We'll see you next time, and remember, get in the hole!